What's going on, folks? This is Primetime James Thomas coming at you with another video over here at the Primetime Movie Network. Excuse me, Jesus, I am so sorry about that. But yes, I am finally get to talk about LongLegs. Yes, LongLegs, a movie that I was very much looking forward to. I did a video on the trailer, how much I loved the trailer. I loved the marketing campaign behind the film. I thought how everything that was executed about the marketing campaign, probably some of the best I've ever seen. Like from the trailers, the vignettes that was played, that was all brilliant. That was all brilliant. Movie was directed by Oz Perkins, who is the son of the late great Anthony Perkins, Norman Bates from Psycho. And this movie was a movie I was very much looking forward to. Now, I will give my thoughts on the movie along like, but just know I'm not going to go scene for scene, beat for beat, the likes and the dislikes of the film. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to talk in generality about how I felt about the film. Just because I just think it's easier now for me, saying that I'm older now. I don't really have the energy to want to go break down like, well, this happened in scene one, happened in scene two, and just like, yeah, I'm not I'm not in my early 20s anymore. But but this movie again was a movie I've been very much looking forward to, and it's very rare that a movie gets me to the movie theater nowadays. You all know that I am a horror movie guy. I'm a horror movie channel, and but there's not a lot of films, especially in the world of horror, that makes me want to get out of my house, into my car, and go to the movie theater these days. Because there's a lot of horror movies out there. There's a lot of movies, especially horror movies, that does not appeal to me. That does not look interesting for me. Interesting for me enough to travel, spend money, spend almost like $30, $40 before I even see the damn movie, and sit down with a bunch of people who have no regard for the rules. They're always they're on their phone, or somebody's talking behind you, or somebody's talking in front of you. There's not a lot of movies that make me do that. This movie did. This movie did. Because, granted, maybe it's because I'm older now. Like, I'm not quick to go see the slashers, cut 'em up movies in the movie theater anymore. Maybe because I'm older and I've been there, done that. Like I've always been a theater of the mind kind of guy. I've always been about the mystery, and I've been that way since I was a kid. But really, at this point in my life, like I'll be more interested to see this type of horror film compared to like Slender Man or the Boogeyman or whatsoever. Cause it's like we've been there, done that. Like I'm not interested. Now maybe if I was 1920, maybe, but I'm at 30, going on 31. It's like I'm just not interested anymore. And I just want to say this really quickly because I've already seen, people, on YouTube, on Facebook, in the comments talk about how people think this movie sucks because they bought into the hype. Let me tell you something, folks. It's 2024. Okay, it's 2024. Anytime you get people from the studios that worked on this film throwing out there, oh, it's the scariest movie of the decade, or it's the scariest movie of all time. I'm not just talking about LongLegs. I'm talking about this movies in general, especially within the last 20 years. If you go in, they're saying that just to get you in the seats. Nine times out of ten, they're lying their asses off. Oh, this movie, it's been said, is scary as hell. It will scare the shit out of you. And then it's supposed to make you, the consumer, come out to watch it to see if it's true. That's what it's all about. I just find it really upsetting and shocking that people still fall for that. They still fall for that. But I've seen so many people like, oh man, this movie wasn't that scary. It wasn't that scary. They lied to us. No, but they got you. They got your money. You see, what's scary, what's not scary is subjective, okay? What's scary to you may not be scary to the person that's sitting next to you in that movie theater, okay? You may not find this movie creepy, but the person next to you may have thought this movie was really creepy. You know, like it's all about how you yourself view the film. I just think it's so annoying that we're still living in a day and time where people are just going off the word of these critics, and I think a lot of these critics that kiss the ass of certain films are just there to either get clicks or get likes on their certain pages or to get in good with the film studios. That way they can get free passes to watch the film and yada yada. A lot of these movie critics have their own agendas when it comes to reviewing films. I've learned that, you know, along the way. Shout out to Paul. I'm pretty sure, Paul, you know, you may know some of that too. That a lot of these critics love to kiss ass. But I just find it hilarious how they still fall for the trick. They've been falling for the trick since the 70s. It's amazing to me. But I went and saw this film. I saw this film a couple Fridays ago. It was packed. My theater was packed, which means it tells me that that the campaign worked. It absolutely worked. And I'm going to say this, folks. I really enjoyed this movie. I really, really enjoyed the film. Um, Now, I'm not going to say that it's for everybody. It's definitely a slow burn. It's definitely a movie that takes its time, but the movie does a really good job. This is the type of horror movie that I enjoy. You know, I always say it, the mood and the atmosphere and the feeling of dread that you feel, even when Longlegs is not even when he's not even in a scene, he's nowhere around. You still get this feeling of uncomfortableness throughout the film just because how it's shot, how it's lit, you know, the long shots that Oz Perkins, like one great example. One great example of this is when Maka Monroe, Lee, I think her name was Lee, right? People in the comments let me know, was at her desk. She can't sleep. I think she's like eating cereal whatsoever. She's calling her mother. She's calling her mother, and how it's shot was great because, like, it was a wide shot where you have Micah Monroe on the left side of the camera talking on the phone, and then there was this space behind her where you see, you know, the doorway into her kitchen, right? And it stays there. By the way, again, there's gonna be some spoilers. There's gonna be some spoilers, by the way. So I'm not gonna spoil like the big things, but there's gonna be some spoilers. And so there's a long shot, and the whole time she's talking to her mom, you're fixated on that open space with the doorway to the kitchen because you expect something to either walk across or jump out whatsoever, but it doesn't happen. That's the type of stuff I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like you just get the fans on the edge of their seat. Just make them uncomfortable. You know, I thought Oz Perkins did a damn good job directing the film, establishing shots. I thought, to me, like the MVP of the film, the biggest star of the film was the mood and the atmosphere all throughout the film. It definitely gave you some Silence of the Lamb vibes. It definitely gave you some Seven vibes, where Seven was just all throughout the film was really dark, really gloomy, cloudy, rainy, depressing, mood. Um, and here, Long Legs, the movie just felt uncomfortable, especially with how it was shot, how the camera that they used, just felt uncomfortable, and you don't know why. You don't know why, but you just had an uneasy feeling, and I thought that was fantastic. And of course, I gotta talk about good old Nicolas Cage, who was the biggest draw to this film. Now, when it comes to Nicolas Cage, I like Nicolas Cage for the most part. He's not my favorite. I do think he kind of gets a bad rap. I think some of the hate he gets is just a little overblown. I understand it. He's not everyone's cup of tea. Like, he's not everyone. He has a very unique way of acting. And I think that's probably why so many people are fascinated with Nicolas Cage, because he has his own style, he has his own, ways of performing. And Nicolas Cage being the serial killer in this film as Longlegs was the big draw. Because when you add Nicolas Cage's very eccentric, mannerisms and ways, on top of the fact he's supposed to play a serial killer, you're thinking, oh, this is a slam dunk. This is a slam dunk, right? And plus, how he was used in the campaign, how you barely saw him, you heard his voice in moments, and you're like, holy shit, like he's gonna be really fucking creepy in the film. And I gotta say, I thought Nicolas Cage, for what he was given, was really good. Was really, really good. Now, I will say that there are moments where you get that classic Nick Cage, where he becomes full on Nick Cage. One example is when he's in the car, driving by himself. You get those Nick Cage moments, but honestly, I gotta say some of the scariest moments of Nick Cage is when he kind of dials it back. When he's not as eccentric, when he actually focuses on being creepy. I think that's when he's at the most scary. And then, of course, the very beginning of the film was really, really good when we see the little girl, who we later learn is Michael Monroe's character as a little girl, and she had an encounter with Longlegs. This is where we get this shot here. How he was shot was great, because you see only the lower half of his mouth. You don't see his full face, but you could tell that he has some sort of prosthetic makeup on his face. And how he's speaking, how he's talking, his body language was unsettling. And then when he lowers himself to show his face, that's when we get that Longlegs title, which I thought was really effective. I will say this. I do wish that we did see more of him. I will say that, because I really liked Nick's performance here. I kind of wanted to see more. There's a situation that happens when pretty close to the end, which may disappoint some folks, but he's not really in the movie that much, which I have no problem with. I have no problem with keeping your killer a mystery, throughout the whole thing, have me in the background. I have no problem with that. But I do wish I did see just a little bit more of him, because I thought the scenes he was in, I thought he was fantastic. Like the scene when he goes out doing his daily chores and he's fucking with the little girl with the little girl. Oh, the cuckoo, cuckoo, you know. And the little girl's like, Dad, that weird man is here again. You know, I thought that stuff was fantastic. I thought when he got arrested was a little underwhelming. I didn't expect it to go that easy, in my opinion. Um, but I thought Nick Cage was great, and I could definitely see him getting some awards for this film. Um, the prosthetic makeup, is hit and miss for people. But I thought Nick made it work. Um, our problem was I just kind of want to see more of him, honestly. But yeah, Nicolas Cage was definitely was worth the price of admission. Micah Monroe, who plays Detective Lee Harper. Of course, we all remember her from, she was in Watchers, and of course, she was in one of my favorite films, It Follows, and of course, They Follow, which is the upcoming sequel to that film. I'm looking forward to that. I thought she was really good in the film. Um, One, she hasn't aged a day since It Follows. She looks exactly the same. And it was a very unique performance because she plays somebody who is she's a rookie in the FBI, and she plays it very, I don't know if I want to say stoic, but you can tell she's socially awkward. Maybe a little too socially awkward. Because, like, again, when you have the scene when Blair Underwood, invites her to the house, she's talking to her daughter, and she's like very awkward, she's like, is it weird being a police FBI agent? Yeah. Do you want to come to my birthday? Sure. It's like, and it's kind of like, but I think there was a reason behind that because when we kind of learned the twist, if you will, about the film, you kind of learn that she may have been kind of under a bit of a spell. She was kind of a little bit under a trance in the whole film. Um, which that may be hit or miss for some people. But I thought Michael Monroe was really good. Was really good in this film, and she continues to have a really good career. Like I said, she was really good in It Follows. She was really good in Watchers. Yeah, she has been really good in everything I've seen her in. And I thought this was another really good performance. Alicia Witt. I remember her as the lead girl in Urban Legend, in that whole late 90s renaissance of slasher films. She plays Micah Monroe's mother. She's really good. I always enjoy seeing her in. Blair Underwood, who kind of plays Micah Monroe's superior. He's really good in his own. Keith from Set It Off. Now, the twist on the ending of the movie, I will say, may have been a little anticlimactic for me. I did not mind the supernatural twist in the film. It didn't offend me. Um, I did not mind it. However, I do feel the ending could have had a little bit more of a punch to it. It kind of felt like when the movie was over, I was satisfied with the movie, but I felt like there could have been more done here. And the movie could have ended with a little bit more oomph to it. Because I liked what they did with that third ending when she goes to the birthday party, and then the father, you can tell, is already possessed by the doll whatsoever. Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil everything, but I will just say this: when it comes to Nicolas Cage and how he kills the families, um, it's not that straightforward. It's very elaborate of how Nicolas Cage has gone about killing these people and these families. It's very satanic, and that is so may rub people the wrong way. But of course, we're in 2024, where religion is very looked down upon now. Um, but the supernatural aspect of the film, I did not mind. I kind of liked it, you know. But if you are someone that kind of wanted to see Nicolas Cage be a killer, which again was the big draw for a lot of people, you're not going to see that. You're not going to see that. Um, it is a very elaborate way how he does it. It didn't offend me, but it's probably going to offend some people. Kind of go, "Oh, come the fuck on," right? But I enjoyed it. I thought it was. I really enjoyed this film. Um, Now, is it? Well, when they compare it to Silence of the Lambs and Seven, I'm not gonna put those movies. I'm not gonna put this above them, but it's in that same lane. It's definitely in that same lane. So if you are a fan of those movies, Silence of the Lambs and Sevens, and those films, you're going to enjoy this. You're going to enjoy this, that psychological horror, thriller subgenre. If you are a fan of that, you're going to enjoy this. If you like films that actually takes its time, that actually sets the stage first, you're going to enjoy it. Yeah, I thought Nicolas Cage was really good. I thought Micah Monroe was really good. I thought Blair Underwood. I thought the cast as a whole did a really good job. Like nobody in the movie offended me. The third act, the finale, I just thought the build up. I thought the build up was better than the actual payoff. I will admit that. It didn't make me hate the film because I thought the build up was just fantastic, and how Oz was directing the film was very mesmerizing. But I just thought, that when I walked away from the theater, I was kind of like, eh, I didn't hate it, but I just you could have added. It's like when you try a dish and you eat the dish and it's good. It's good, but you're like, maybe add a little bit more salt and pepper to it, a little bit more seasoning to it, a little bit more spice to it. It could be even better. You know what I mean? Okay, I only seen the movie once. I gotta watch it again to if my feelings really do feel that way. But after the first time watch, I dug it. I absolutely dug this film. And like I said, if you are a fan of this psychological horror thriller type of films, like a Silence, like a Seven, you should enjoy this film, no question. But let me know you guys' thoughts. How'd you guys feel about LongLegs? How'd you feel about Nicolas Cage's performance? How'd you feel about Micah Monroe's performance? What would you rate it out of 10? Let me know guys' thoughts. I enjoyed the film, and hopefully who's ever seen this film enjoyed it as well. But please sure to hit the like and subscribe button. And I will talk to you guys later. And I am out. Peace.